good looking, walked into his house. Peter definitely took notice. Wow, if my little sister has friends like this, then I'm going to have to hang around her a lot more. At this time, Monica thought he seemed like a really nice guy, but he was Kristen's brother. They met again in May of that year at Kristen and Bergen's wedding. It was here that they spent a little time together. Monica discovered that he was funny and easy to talk to. Peter thought that Monica was easygoing and would laugh at his comments, as well as things he would laugh at. Anyway, just a little divergent here. That's one of the things, those of you that are parents, I don't know if you look forward to going home at the end of the day. I always did when our children were growing up. They always seemed to be happy to see me, and I was happy to see them. And one of the things that Monica liked to do was either play horsey or hide and go seek. And Monica had a very unique laugh. And I just always cherished hearing that laugh. And every once in a while when she gets relaxed, and I'll hear a little bit of that childish laughter. And I understand that Peter is well known for making people laugh. In fact, his mother indicated that he was very good at enhancing family photos by making his mother laugh right at the right moment. It was after the May wedding, and up until August of that year, that they texted back and forth and occasionally would talk on the phone, but nothing was serious at that point. But during this time, Peter came to the conclusion that she was actually the mirror image of him in some ways. I haven't seen quite that yet, but anyway. It was in August that Monica told her mother that they had been communicating. They did briefly get together in September, and it was in November that year that the stress level went to new heights when Peter flew her home for Thanksgiving. It was a rule in our family that we'd fly them home for the big breaks, not for the little ones. So Peter kind of took over where we left off. And Peter had to be the parent. I think there were 2 birds roasted at that day. Peter said it was really not stressful because in their conversations over the months, it seemed like Monica's family was very similar to his. Over the course of 1.5+ years, Peter flew her home on some of the shorter breaks so they could spend some time together. And we would get brief glimpses of her while she was here. Monica commented that she always liked the fact that Peter let her be herself and didn't try to change her. It wasn't until Peter had gone away last summer of 2010 and spent 6 weeks fishing up in Alaska on the family fishing boat. It was after this that he first broached the subject of matrimony. And Monica, sometime during this, assured him that nothing was going to happen until he talked to her father. Evidently, I was one very scary dude because it wasn't until March of this last year that he worked it up to come and talk to me. And we sat down over supper and I think we had a nice supper. I remember that Peter was very nervous. And I sat back and kind of enjoyed it because I remember going through that about 28 years ago. One thing I do remember when I asked my father-in-law for Debbie's hand, and that the engagement ring was presented in a heart-shaped bed of roses. And evidently she said yes. Monica and Peter, we're here today for one reason, and one reason only. From the very beginning, God designed that man and woman should be together. And in Genesis chapter 2, verse 21 onward, it says, "So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, 'This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, and she shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man.'" Now, there's a paraphrased version of that when Adam first saw Eve, he was trying to decide, a name. The only thing that came to mind was, "Whoa, man!" For this reason, a man will leave his wife, or his father and mother, and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. Now remember that. You're going to be one flesh. But it's funny how it works out that when you have that first child, the one becomes three. And since God created us, then let's take a quick look at what God is. If you go to the first book of John, chapter 4, verse 8, "Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love." And since we serve such an incredible God, Creator, I thought we'd touch briefly about what love really is. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not boast. Love is humble. Love is not rude. Love is not self-seeking. Another way of saying this, you all remember the golden rule: do unto those as you would have them do unto you, right? Well, JFK had a unique way of doing it, saying it to the fact that it was utilized in one of his famous speeches. He said, "Ask not what your spouse will do for you, but what you do for your spouse." Love does not easily anger. Love keeps no record of wrong. Love delights in the truth. Love always protects. And I understand that there's a little bit of a protective mechanism in Peter when his sister was starting to be looking at boy's age, I guess. There was a certain young man that was not being very appropriate, I guess, and you and your brother kind of straightened him out. And I was thinking about that. Protector, you now have Peter. He's a protector. You have your father. You have your brother. You have your grandpa. You have various uncles. Many uncles. And I was thinking, as far as bodyguards protection is concerned, that Michelle Obama doesn't have anything on you. Love always trusts. Love always hopes. Always perseveres. Love never fails. Peter, as you know, we raised 3 children in our home. We have a boy and 2 girls. Actually, we have 3 girls now, but anyway, Kyle,